Before you take any step forward in life, before you chase success, try to find peace, or build your legacy, there's one thing you must claim, like your life depends on it: clarity. Because clarity isn't just about having a nice vision board or writing down goals in a notebook. Clarity is power. Clarity is direction. Clarity is the difference between wasted motion and unstoppable momentum. You don't build a strong life by doing everything. You build it by doing the right things with your full force. And you can't give something your full force if you don't know what you're aiming at. Too many people are waking up every day in a fog, busy, distracted, pulled in every direction, exhausted but unfulfilled. Not because they're lazy, not because they're broken, but because they're unclear. Their energy is leaking into a dozen things that don't really matter, and they wonder why they feel stuck. If you want focused action, you must first decide what you are not available for. That's where clarity begins, not in adding more, but in subtracting. Cut away the noise, the fake priorities, the external expectations, the opinions of people who aren't living your life. You don't owe your potential to comfort or convenience. You owe it to truth, and the truth is, until you can see clearly what matters, you'll never move with the force you were built for. It's not about being perfect. It's about being precise. Precise in your intentions. Precise in your time, precise in your yes, and even more powerful in your no. You cannot afford to hand your energy to things that drain you. You cannot afford to wander through life hoping something clicks. Something clicks when you do. When your mind aligns with your mission. When your purpose becomes non-negotiable. That's when things start moving. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you stopped living in confusion and started living on purpose. And don't think clarity will just fall from the sky. You don't wait for it. You create it. You create it by sitting with yourself in silence, away from the noise. You create it by asking real questions. Who am I when no one is watching? What future would I regret not chasing? What am I pretending not to know about what I really want? These aren't surface-level questions. They cut deep, but in the cut, you'll find your core. You'll find the reason you're still here. And once you find that, you move. Clarity gives you permission to go all in, to stop guessing and start trusting, to stop asking for signs and start being the signal. It's a shift from reaction to command, from being pulled by everything to pulling yourself towards something. And the beauty of clarity is this: it doesn't require you to have every step figured out. It just requires your next step to be intentional. Because clarity isn't about knowing the whole map, it's about knowing the direction. And when you move in that direction with everything in you, life starts aligning, doors open, people show up, energy returns. And here's what's wild: clarity is contagious. When you're clear, people feel it. They trust you, they follow you, they respect your boundaries because you respect your mission. And your mission becomes magnetic, not because it's loud, but because it's real. That's what draws opportunity. That's what draws power. That's what draws purpose-driven momentum. But without it, you'll chase your tail. You'll work hard but feel empty. You'll build things that don't fulfill you and relationships that don't nourish you. That's the cost of a life without clarity. Exhaustion without elevation, and you weren't made for that. You were made to live with force, with direction, with unshakable focus. And it all starts with making the quiet, bold decision to get clear about what you're here for, and ruthless about where your energy no longer belongs. Because once you get clear, you'll never move the same again. And the world won't see you the same again either. This is where focused action begins. This is where full power gets unlocked. Overthinking is the silent killer of action. It's dressed up as intelligence. it feels responsible, even safe, but it's a trap. Because there comes a moment when thinking becomes hiding, when planning becomes procrastination, when talking about the thing is just a clever way of avoiding doing the thing. If you want focused action and full power, then there's one rule that must dominate your days. Stop thinking, start executing. It's easy to sit back and analyze, to research one more article, to watch one more video, to have one more conversation. But life doesn't change because you understand what needs to happen. Life changes when you make it happen. You can have 100 good ideas and never move forward. You can have the right mindset, the right information, the right circumstances, and still go nowhere. Because power lives in movement, results live in execution. Transformation doesn't come from knowing, it comes from doing. You can be the most intelligent person in the room and still lose to the one who shows up and takes action. That's the truth no one likes to admit. Action beats intellect when it's consistent. Discipline beats potential when it shows up daily. Success doesn't reward the thinker who waits. It rewards the doer who builds. So if you're waiting to feel ready, to feel sure, to feel clear before you act, you'll be stuck forever. You don't need more clarity, you need more courage, and courage starts with movement. Most people think they have a motivation problem. They don't, they have an execution problem. They know what to do. They just haven't turned it into behavior. Because deep down, part of them is afraid to fail, afraid to look stupid, afraid they're not enough. But the only way to break fear is through motion. You don't think your way out of fear. You act your way through it. You push through the resistance, not around it. And what's on the other side of action is confidence. Not because everything went perfectly, but because you proved to yourself that you're not fragile, you're not paralyzed. You move. Execution is the difference between dreaming and building. Dreamers talk. Builders act. Dreamers wait. Builders work. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something with full intent. Make the call, write the draft, hit the gym, record the video, launch the idea. Take the uncomfortable step. Let the world adjust to the version of you that doesn't wait anymore. Because once you start acting, something changes inside you. You begin to trust yourself. You start seeing progress. You feel the weight of indecision lift off your chest. And in that space, momentum is born. Don't fall into the trap of perfection. That's another lie that keeps people stuck. You don't have to get it right the first time. You just have to get it moving. Action reveals what thinking can't. It shows you what works. It sharpens your skills. It gives you feedback, data, experience, none of which you'll get by sitting in your head. The people you admire aren't the ones who waited. They're the ones who moved, even when they were scared, especially when they were uncertain, because they understood something you must own for yourself. The only way out is through. Execution isn't just about hustle, it's about alignment. It's taking action that honors the future you said you wanted. It's not scattered, frantic motion. It's targeted, relentless effort. Every step, every rep, every conversation, every hour invested in building the version of you who refuses to stay stuck. And here's the truth, once you develop the habit of execution, it gets addictive. You stop overthinking because you've seen the power of movement. You stop hesitating because you trust your ability to figure it out on the way. You stop waiting for signs and start becoming the signal. You don't need another book. You don't need more advice. You don't need to be inspired every day. What you need is to build the muscle of showing up, taking action before you feel like it, acting even when your mind wants to stall. That's how you rewire yourself. That's how you train your focus, your energy, your identity. to be one of movement, not delay, because the world doesn't respond to what you think you'll do. It responds to what you actually do. And the moment you decide that thinking is no longer enough, that action is your new baseline, you become unstoppable. So stop thinking, start building, let your life be your loudest argument. Most people wait to feel good before they move. They wait for motivation, for the right energy, for the emotions to line up with the task. That's a mistake, because emotions are unstable. They're weather patterns. They shift. 1 minute, you're ready to conquer the world. The next, you're questioning everything. If your life is built on how you feel, you will never be consistent, and without consistency, you'll never be powerful. Here's the truth. Energy doesn't come from emotion. It follows direction. That means when you decide with clarity and act with intention, your energy aligns, your focus intensifies. You become unstoppable, not because you're riding the emotional wave, but because you've planted a flag and said, "This is where I'm going." No matter what storm hits, some days you're not going to want to show up. Your emotions will scream, stay in bed, avoid it, postpone, overthink. But if you've trained your mind to follow direction, not emotion, you'll still move, you'll still execute. And over time, that kind of mental discipline creates a force people can't explain. They'll say, "How do you keep going?" You'll say, "I don't wait to feel like it." Because most people are emotional hostages to their environment. If someone says the wrong thing, their whole day collapses. If a plan falls through, they shut down. But when you lead with direction, your mission becomes the compass. Not how you feel, not what happened this morning, not what someone else said, the mission. Think of a missile. It doesn't care about the weather. It doesn't slow down because of turbulence. It locks onto a target and it goes. That's what your mind must be trained to do. Lock on, focus, redirect if needed. But never wait around for the right feeling to act. You can be exhausted and still be effective. You can be anxious and still be bold. You can be uncertain and still take the next step. The key is choosing not to give authority to emotion. Emotions are passengers. They can ride along, but they don't get to touch the steering wheel. And here's something even more powerful. When you start leading with direction, the emotions eventually follow. You build evidence, you gain traction. Confidence grows not from affirmation, but from execution. It's built in the moments when you were scared, overwhelmed, uncertain, and you moved anyway. People think energy is magic. They think you either have it or you don't, but energy is cultivated. It comes when your body and mind see that you're serious. It shows up for those who show up for themselves. You don't wait for clarity to take action. You take action to get clarity. This is why so many people never gain momentum. They're waiting to feel ready. But readiness is a decision, not a feeling. You don't become powerful because the stars align. You become powerful because you stop waiting and start directing. You say, "This is the standard, this is the path, this is the next step." And you take it. Direction creates simplicity. It removes noise. When you know where you're going, every action either supports that direction or distracts from it. That makes choices easier. Should you scroll for another hour? Does it serve the direction? No. Then it's out. Should you speak up in that meeting? Will it move you closer to the mission? Yes. Then do it. That's the filter. Not how you feel, not whether it's comfortable, but does it align? And the beautiful part is, when you lead like that, your energy stops leaking. You stop giving it to indecision. You stop draining it on overthinking. You reclaim it by acting with intention. Energy conserved becomes energy reinvested into your craft, into your body, into your relationships, into your future. So train yourself. Train yourself to act with clarity, not emotion. To show up without needing to feel like it. To direct your day instead of reacting to it. Because when your life follows direction, not emotion, you gain something most people never find: control. And when you live from that place, even your worst days become productive. Even your pain becomes purposeful. Even your silence becomes strength. You stop asking for energy and start commanding it. You stop chasing motivation and start moving like a person on fire with purpose. Because your energy will always ask, "Where are we going?" It's your job to answer. Everybody wants to be powerful. Everybody wants to be unstoppable, but they forget that power leaks from distraction. The moment you allow the world to pull your attention in 100 directions, your effectiveness is cut to pieces. Focus isn't just a nice to have, focus is oxygen. And if you let the wrong people, the wrong thoughts, or the wrong habits choke it out, you're finished before you even begin. This world is noisy. Notifications, opinions, scrolling, reacting. It's designed to rob you of your clarity. You start your day with intention, and by midday, your mind's cluttered with things that have nothing to do with your mission. And that's not by accident. Everything around you is fighting for your attention. If you don't defend it like your life depends on it, someone else will use it for theirs. You've got to get radical about this. Because here's the truth: what you allow into your space, into your time, into your head, it shapes the quality of your thoughts and the power behind your actions. Distraction isn't just harmless, it's theft. Every time you check a meaningless notification, or get pulled into gossip, or jump from task to task without finishing anything, a piece of your strength is stolen, and you don't get that moment back. If I told you that you were losing oxygen slowly throughout your day, you'd panic, you'd plug the leak, you'd fix it immediately. But when you leak focus, you shrug and call it normal. It's not normal. It's deadly to your goals, your clarity, your future. So what do? You build barriers around your focus. You treat it like something sacred. That means you start saying no. No to unnecessary conversations. No to environments that don't align. No to the habits that drain and the voices that distract. This isn't about being rude, it's about being responsible. Responsible for your energy, your time, your life. And no, it won't be easy. People won't like it when you start to pull away from the chaos they live in. They'll say you've changed, you're distant, you're too serious. Let them talk. You're not here to blend in with people who waste their days. You're here to build something few people have the discipline to pursue. That takes focus, and not just occasional focus. Sustained, daily, disciplined focus. This is also where boundaries come in. You can't focus if your time doesn't belong to you. Schedule your priorities, control your environment, set time aside to think deeply, not just react constantly. That phone, that inbox, those messages, they'll still be there in an hour. What won't still be there is your deepest mental energy, that state where creativity, strategy, and breakthrough ideas live. That state requires stillness, requires commitment, requires protection. You've got to build focus like a fortress. If you've got an hour to work, then work fully, not halfway, not checking the phone every 5 minutes. If you've got a moment to think, really think, then protect that moment like it's gold, because it is. Your ability to sit with a problem, push through it, and arrive at a solution without being interrupted, that asterisk is a superpower. It's not that the successful are smarter, they're just less distracted. They've learned that multitasking is a myth. They've trained their minds to stay with one thing longer than most people can stand. That's where the magic is. not in doing more things, but in doing fewer things better, deeper, sharper, and don't fall into the trap of waiting for perfect conditions to focus. You must create the space, the structure, the standard. You must decide what matters and eliminate what doesn't. Because nobody is going to do it for you. Focus is your job. Protecting it is your responsibility. When you do that, when you start showing up to your life with undivided attention, you become dangerous in the best way. You start completing what you start. You stop making excuses. You create faster, execute sharper, think clearer, because your mind isn't being pulled in a dozen directions. It's aligned, it's directed. It's free, so protect it like it's oxygen, because when your focus is fully yours, you no longer beg the world for permission to win. You take it. Everyone wants the big win, the breakthrough moment, the spotlight, but most people are blind to where real transformation begins. It's not in the explosion, it's in the spark. It's in the smallest possible win that you choose to stack over and over until it becomes a force so massive it can't be stopped. That's how greatness is built, not by waiting for motivation, not by hoping the stars align, but by showing up and winning small. That's what momentum really is. It's not this mythical force that appears when everything's perfect. It's something you create with intention, and you create it by deciding that asterisk today asterisk matters, this minute matters. You don't brush it off. You don't tell yourself it's too small to count. You treat every small action like a brick. You keep laying bricks even when no one's watching, because eventually you look back and you've built something unshakable. The problem is, we're taught to chase extremes, all or nothing, win or lose, success or failure, but that thinking destroys progress. You don't lift 300 pounds on day one. You don't build a 7-figure business overnight. You don't go from chaos to clarity in a single hour. What you do is make one disciplined decision, then another, then another. You turn just this once into every damn time, and that becomes who you are. But here's the catch. You can't always feel the power of those small wins right away. They're silent, quiet. They don't give you fireworks, but they are the compounding interest of success. The person who shows up to train even when they're tired. The one who wakes up and attacks the plan even when the results haven't shown yet. That's the person who wins long term because they trust momentum. They build it like a machine, and once it's moving, it's hard to stop. You've got to stop looking for permission to take pride in small wins. Stack them like armor, stack them like ammo, stack them until the evidence of your future is staring you in the face. You want confidence, earn it, not from hype, not from praise, but from the stack of days where you did what you said you would do. That's unshakable confidence, the kind that doesn't rely on validation. Some people sabotage their own momentum because they want the win to feel dramatic. But drama doesn't build anything, consistency does. Let other people chase extremes. You master the ordinary. You dominate the simple. Because when you can show up, do the work, stay committed, without needing it to feel exciting, you've unlocked something most people never will: control. Let's be clear, momentum doesn't mean speed. It means movement with direction. It means every step is reinforcing the one before it, even if it feels slow, even if no one sees it. You're building a rhythm, a tempo, and soon you're not pushing yourself forward anymore. You're being pulled by the force you've created. It gets easier not because the work changes, but because you do. You become someone who doesn't need motivation to take action. You act because it's who you are. You act because the next win is non-negotiable. You don't wait for momentum. You manufacture it from scratch, from grit, from discipline, and every time you keep that promise to yourself, you shift your identity. You're not someone who tries. You're someone who does. You're not hoping anymore. You're building. And nothing builds faster than the power of small wins stacked daily with purpose. That's your momentum engine. Even when it feels like nothing is moving, remind yourself, everything counts, every choice, every decision, every step forward. This is where most people fall off. They stop because the reward isn't instant. But your reward asterisk is asterisk instant. It's the shift in who you are. And over time, that identity becomes unstoppable. Because you didn't fake your progress, you built it brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day, until there's no version of you that doesn't show up, until there's no challenge that can shake your belief. Because you didn't talk yourself into power, you proved it to yourself, one small win at a time. So stack your wins, guard them, celebrate them, because the momentum you're building right now, that's the power that's going to change your life. Most people are waiting for the right time, waiting until they feel ready, waiting until they're more confident, more skilled, more certain. But the truth is, becoming the person you want to be doesn't start asterisk after asterisk you achieve something. It starts asterisk before asterisk. It starts with a choice. And then it demands movement that matches that choice. If you want to become something greater, you have to act like it's already true. Move like the person you chose to become has already arrived. This isn't about faking it. It's about embodying it, living from the identity you've committed to, not the one that was handed to you by your past, by your pain, or by people who never saw your potential. Because the moment you say, "That's who I am now," the clock starts ticking. The universe doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to conviction, to alignment, to a person whose actions, words, and energy all say the same thing. Asterisk, this is who I am now. Period. Asterisk, so ask yourself, how does that future version of you think? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves in rooms where no one's cheering yet? How do they handle pressure, setbacks, and silence? Do they shrink or do they lean in? Do they fold when it gets hard, or do they rise because they've trained their mind to follow through regardless of feelings? That's who you need to start being, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you show up for the smallest task, the way you respond when nobody's watching. That's the audition. That's the test. You either match the identity you claim, or you keep pretending it's coming someday. If you're serious about transformation, you don't get to move like someone who's waiting for permission. You move like someone who's already decided, because once you decide, your energy changes. You stop entertaining things that don't align. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop questioning whether you're good enough. You start asterisk being asterisk enough, because you're proving it through relentless alignment with the version of you that doesn't need convincing. This is how hyper-formers build separation. They don't just set goals. They reverse engineer the habits, decisions, and posture of the person who's already living that life, and then they asterisk live asterisk it long before the results show up, long before anyone else understands. And that's what creates power most people will never taste, because they're too busy waiting for evidence before they act. But the winners, they act and then create the evidence. Look, the world is always watching, even when it seems like it's not. You're always reinforcing something to yourself. Every choice either confirms the old version of you or builds the new one. So the question is, which identity are you feeding? You want to build confidence. You want to be powerful, then act like it when you're tired, when it's boring, when no one's clapping, when it would be easier to slip back into comfort. That's where the gap closes between who you were and who you're becoming. That's where your future self is forged, not in the spotlight, but in the silence, when you choose to embody strength even when weakness feels justified. Every moment is a chance to reinforce the identity of someone unstoppable. You don't need to feel like them. You don't need the world to believe it yet. You just need to move like it's already true, because if you do that enough times, it becomes true. You can't change your life if you're still negotiating your standards. You can't break through if you're only acting powerful when things are easy. Step into that future version of yourself and never look back. Let your movement send a message to your doubt, to your fear, to your past. Asterisk, I am already who I chose to be. Asterisk, and when that alignment becomes your default, when you don't have to remind yourself who you are because you've lived it so consistently, it stops being an act. It becomes your truth, your posture, your discipline, your presence. They speak louder than any speech. You've stepped into your full power, so don't wait, don't hesitate, move like it's already yours. Because the minute you do, the world begins to shift to match your energy.